What's up, stock compounders? Brad here. So we got breaking news. Phil Town just revealed what he thinks SRG stock is worth. And I got to give a huge shout out to Dive the World, who let me know about this. I got to get you on payroll, buddy. My equity research analyst. You're doing a fantastic job. So Phil did a Q&A session on Facebook yesterday. It was a live Q&A. On August 20th. And I just want to read this particular question and answer that Phil Town gave about SRG. So question, Q2, Monish Pabrai took a large stake in SRG. Is that a speculative move? The Rule 1 numbers look terrible. So Phil Town is known for his Rule 1 investing approach, where there's kind of some steps to go through to size up an investment's potential. So the answer Phil Town gave, you need to understand SRG in order to buy into it. This is not a 6-inch bar, but I own a big chunk of it as well. Happy to see that Monish bought in. Buffett owns 5% of it. Eddie Lampert owns 40% of it. You just really need to understand the company. I don't have time to go into it right now, but I will say I think it's a good company. Okay, and then he gets another question, and he goes on to say, we bought SRG at $7, so he added to his position recently at $7 per share, and it went up to 20. We didn't sell it because I think it's going to go to 140 over the next 10 years. Okay, now, then he gives a huge disclaimer. This is not advice or recommendations. Trying to teach you guys to invest, not to copy what I do. Happy to have you copy me, but please do it with a brain, not just because I'm doing it. When Buffett buys something, I want to copy him, but I'm going to really research and understand it so that if I buy it at 20 and it goes down to 7, I'm not having a kitten in my pants. He actually said I'm not having a kitten in my pants. I haven't heard that one. I'm not freaking out that there's something going on here that I don't understand because I didn't understand the company in the first place. That's a really important point there. Never ever buy something just because a guru buys it. Now, I don't totally agree with that. I think you just need to know the pitfalls of kind of blindly copying gurus. You get the tip from a guru, then you figure out if you understand the business. So that's kind of a transcript from Phil Town in that Q&A. So that's interesting. Phil Town thinks SRG is going to be worth $140 per share in 10 years. So let's go through that exercise real quick. The current price of SRG is $12.20. So, what's the annual rate of return if we're going from $12.20 today to $140 in 10 years? Well, it's a 28% annualized return, which gets us a little bit better than a double every 3 years, which is awesome because, that's what my investment goal is. And the great thing about this is if it plays out that way, I don't have to do anything with that money for 10 years. I plug it in, I let SRG grow it at greater than the rate of return that I'm looking for by a few percent. And then in 10 years, I take my money out and now I have to figure out something else to do with it. But a few questions came up thinking about this for you guys as well. So, all right, great. So if it goes to 140 in 10 years, how many stocks have you held for 10 years? Is that something feasible for you to do? That there's not many people, I would venture, that have held a stock for 10 years. So, while it's exciting to hear that, maybe this stock will be worth that much in 10 years, you really need to kind of gut check yourself and decide for yourself, can I do that? Is that even feasible to let something ride for 10 years that requires a level of patience that perhaps not a lot of people have? The second question I think that's important to ask yourself, if it goes to $2 on the way to $140, are you still going to own it by the time it gets to 140? It reminds me, Monish Pabrai, shared, I don't remember what company he invested in, but he bought in somewhere around $7. And, I think within a year, it had gone down to $1.50, from $7 to $1.50. He's sweating at this point. He's like, oh man, maybe I made a huge mistake here. All right. So that price drop, it set a frame, right? It set a frame in his mind. Now, he's feeling a little antsy. And then, of course, the stock went on to go up to 14, right? From $1.50, from 7 down to $1.50, up to 14. And of course, when it hit 14, he's like, hallelujah, we're out of here. We got our double. We are out of here. And of course, after that double, it went on to go up, I think, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 times from there. But because, the price had made him nervous, the price fluctuation impacted what Pabrai thought about the business, how he saw the company. And so because of that frame that the price movement set, he's thrilled to get out at a double. But perhaps, that wasn't even his original plan. His plan was, he was thinking, well, this is probably going to go up 3, 4, or 5 times from here. So it's really important, especially if you don't understand a business, if you're picking up ideas from great investors, if you're kind of cloning, maybe you don't have time to really understand the business. The biggest challenge with that is because you don't have an anchor, you don't understand the business, price fluctuations can easily throw you off. They can, you can buy into price fluctuations as if it's an indicator of how the business is doing or what the business is actually worth. So if you're going to shamelessly clone, if you're going to do it without really understanding the business, you really have to come up with a solution to that problem. And one way to do it is to say, okay, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to wait until this super investor sells it, and I'm not going to sell it before that. And you have to keep that promise to yourself. Or maybe it's, I'm going to buy it, but I'm not going to look at it for 5 years or 10 years or however long. Okay, whatever your approach is, you have to address that vulnerability where the price can influence whether you continue holding it or sell it prematurely. So that's an incredibly important point. So I just want to share this, guys. Big news. What Phil Town that thinks SRG, Seritage growth properties might be worth in 10 years. I'm still digging in. I'm still trying to really get a good handle on what those assets are worth. The 175 odd properties that are wholly owned by Seritage. I'm actually teaming up with one of you guys early next week, a guy named Scott, and we're going to try to dig into that a little bit deeper by putting our heads together. So I'll have a video probably middle of next week talking about my sense of what the assets for Seritage growth properties are worth. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, guys, that's all I got for you. I will see you in the next video. Take care.